There was once a time when people were discouraged from having conversations about the color red. The pill gave the sense that it was unlawful, but it seems that the circumstances have altered since then. Take, for example, Andrew Tate into consideration. There are unquestionably a significant number of males that are interested in the message and concur with what it is that I am expressing. It is very clear that a supporter base of this magnitude did not emerge out of thin air. This could not have been accomplished without the backing of a well-established movement, and by the grace of God, the number of red pillars has now reached the millions mark. It should come as no surprise that Andrew Tate is no longer in isolation. More and more people are becoming vocal about the disparities that exist between the sexes, joining the ranks of the large number of experts who have already done so. To put it another way, there were wise people in the past who never would have imagined the possibility that things had changed. A significant increase in the number of men adhering to the movement's ideas can be attributed to the Internet's role in the red pill movement's meteoric rise to prominence over the past few years. If you have previously taken the red pill, you are aware that this outcome was intended to be the one that occurred. I'm going to break down the reasoning behind raising the alarm. The pill movement has gained widespread popularity primarily for the benefit of newcomers to the cause as well as others who simply follow it on a superficial level. To begin with, I have no prior experience with that one. This is a viewpoint that I have never before heard anyone else argue. Despite the fact that I once disagreed with you, I can now see why you might be right. The red pill was previously only available in obscure parts of the Internet because the movement was predominantly associated with Western culture. However, now that Internet connectivity is more readily available in more regions around the world, a rising number of men who come from wealthy homes are entering the labor. Citation needed, the prevalence of people hailing from a variety of origins is growing. Do you have any experience with the red pill? They have, in my opinion, been of tremendous assistance to the red pill movement that has developed in this new millennium. Citation needed, it was only available to those who had a position of privilege. For the purpose of making a purchase of a computer or a telephone in a country that is not Western. Men from a variety of different social strata are starting to become involved with us. These individuals, who came from less fortunate backgrounds, comprehend the meaning of the message that the movement is trying to convey. Because they did not come from privileged or wealthy families, it is likely that they identify with the movement and feel a connection to it. This, in conjunction with the fact that people in developing countries are, on average, less feminist crazy than those in wealthy countries, means that they are likely to agree with the message that we are aiming to project to the world. In spite of this, even if we take away this component, the red pills will still have the same persuasive impact. It is inevitable that the message will continue to be the primary motivating factor behind its widespread acceptance. It will be finished off with this all-encompassing handbook. And it makes complete and utter sense to a significant number of men. This movement had its start in the modern-day world. In addition, there has been a significant amount of research done on the subject. As recent discoveries in biology and the human condition have shown, evolution has been taking place recently. Experience is the bedrock upon which everything else is built. This has absolutely nothing to do with feminism, transgender rights, or any of the other political groups that have emerged in the last few decades. Considering how logical it is, this must be the situation. It is available to the general public to the extent that it could shed light on why it is not attempting to steer us toward a destination that is in conflict with our fundamental nature as a species. Even within the realm of pastimes and pursuits that men have conceptualized and developed specifically for women, so many social and cultural movements in today's modern world are centered on women and girls. They, women, have traditionally held the position of men make up the vast majority of those who hold positions of authority. It completely lacks any trace of masculinity in any way. Reading books, playing video games, and watching television are just few of the activities that may be done to successfully kill time. These are in no manner designed with men in mind at all. There is no problem with them, despite the fact that there is nothing inherently wrong with them. Nevertheless, there is no problem with them. The individual did not engage in activities of this nature during each and every one of his periods of discretionary time. Men are distinguished from women by their audacity and their ability to work well in a group. They are driven by an insatiable appetite for the expansion of their empires. These are essential aspects of society that do not exist in the world we live in today. You won't find any solitary men who could serve as examples because there aren't any. Everywhere you go, you exude dominance. They do not exist in adequate numbers. Men who were similar to him would be found on the streets of whatever city that you went to. It is extremely likely that one of these other men was in fact your grandfather, Denali. There were situations in which their guidance was not taken into account, despite the fact that it ought to have been more influential due to the fact that they had lived longer and acquired more experience. There is not a single one of these instructors in the room. There is hardly any effort made to assist. Young men on the cusp of adulthood who are still identifying as boys, the effectiveness of mentoring younger guys can hardly be discounted. Both older and younger men stand to benefit from it to the same extent. Then there are a number of elderly men who appear to be disoriented and are meandering around without a clear destination. There are some men who are stuck in relationships that they no longer want to be in. As he watched the two of them drift farther and further apart, he made the decision to break off his engagement in front of his fiancée. He is angry, perplexed, and offended at the same time. He has been dating the same woman for the past 3 years, and he believes that she has been dishonest with him. Then there are the veterans whose spouses are currently living in dilapidated apartments despite having depleted their entire retirement plan that was predicated on their military service. It is obvious that they are muddled. What significant events occurred throughout their lives? All of these males are concentrating their attention on the red pill at the moment. It combines the roles of a man's best friend and the most reliable counselor of the 21st century into one convenient package. Men who have traveled the globe and seen it for what it really is, who are aware of how women function in today's society and the legal system, and who are prepared to share this knowledge with other men, however, while dealing with younger men, should one do so. In addition to this, one of my goals is for younger men to acquire the ability to recognize, understand, and value their masculinity. Men who have seen the globe and seen it for what it really is, who are aware of how women function in today's society and how the legal system treats them, and who want to share this knowledge with future generations of men. This is something that every young man deeply desires but is unable to obtain for himself. Few people are aware of how to acquire it. In spite of the fact that he has been schooled to believe that being aggressive and sexually confident are improper behaviors, he yearns for a secure environment in which he can display these characteristics. If he swallows the red pill, he will be provided with the information he needs to successfully complete the task. It will encourage him to break out of his routine and start taking better care of himself by working out with weights. You should not waste time glancing at women because you have other things to do with your time. You should concentrate on the tasks at hand rather than looking at the women around you. When he has finished doing all of that, he will be ready to learn the truth about women. This is the truth, despite what the women may say, therefore there is no reason to be concerned about him or to make him feel uncomfortable with women. You have the option of either thinking about it or making a comment on it. You have absolutely no reason to accept anything less than complete candor from them. In her private record book, she will make a note of her assessment of you in this manner. You need to educate yourself on how to steer clear of sticky situations if you want to have any kind of success with women over the long term. In the end, I turned out to be like one of those men who, after being in a committed relationship with a woman, gets dumped by the lady. This is the reality. Therefore, if you want to have any success with women, all you need to know about women is what they seek. This is all you need to know about women if you want to have any success with them. Those who choose to consume the red pill have the ability to assert their dominance in a romantic partnership and, in a sense, accept the masculine aspects of their identities. These men are receiving instruction and direction from us so that they can reach their full potential. This is the short-term goal that needs to be accomplished to be successful. In addition to this, it is also important to inform the general public on the laws that govern rape, divorce, lawsuits alleging harassment, and imprisonment. This is especially important up until the point where he has garnered a big following. To avoid being a victim of these crimes, Every guy must be aware of this information and take precautions to safeguard at least one of the aforementioned items. The judicial system is fraught with conflicts of interest at every turn. The viewpoint of a woman carries significantly more weight than that of a guy. A guy's reputation and profession might be ruined in an instant due to a woman's singleness, adultery, or a false charge that the man cheated on her with another person. Not only would she be harmful to his mental health, but she will also be harmful to his physical health. However, because of his financial status and his circumstances, he was forced to live on the street. These are real accounts of things that really happened. Men's experiences. We ask that you exercise caution until such time as we have collected a substantial political majority and are able to speak with authority. Until then, we ask that you exercise caution. Our intention is to frighten men into the realization that something like this can also happen to them. It is impossible to exaggerate the importance of educating men about the truth of the world in which they live. As the social media of today, this information will be spread about in order to give men a better understanding of how the world actually works and the problems that are currently faced by people all over the globe. Network. In the midst of all of this lunacy, Twitter is susceptible to people's attempts to normalize situations that are typically seen as noteworthy. It is not feasible to decide what constitutes normal behavior, but you can always count on encountering deviant conduct. If you take the red pill, you will find yourself on the path that leads to success. There is almost always a rational justification available for everything that seems to be an exception to the rule.